Hello everybody, and welcome back to Steven's Fight Show. Happy New Year's everybody. By the time you're seeing this video right now, it is in the year 2023. What a year it has been. I wish everybody that is watching this video right now nothing but love, positivity, success, wealth, and happiness. And ladies and gents, I know I am late on making this video for the Fighter of the Year. I was supposed to get this video out on the last day of 2022, but because I was busy with a couple things in my personal life, I wasn't able to get this video out on time. But now that it's here, this is my official video of who my Fighter of the Year award is. Now, a disclaimer, people might disagree with my picks, and that's okay. We're allowed to disagree, we're allowed to debate, but most importantly, I want to know who your Fighter of the Year is. And I also want you to explain why you believe that fighter is the Fighter of the Year. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. So the year 2022 has been absolute madness for combat sports. We have had such great entertaining fights and shocking upsets that no one would ever expect to occur this year. We had wars, last minute KOs, masterclass performances, and just pure entertainment. I'm going to give you my pick on my Fighter of the Year award for both MMA, specifically the UFC, and professional boxing, as those are the two combat sports that I've covered the most this year. And to be honest, it's probably the only two sports that I'll make videos on. Here and there I might contemplate making videos about Glory or ONE FC, but we'll see. But before I get into that, I just want to say what an amazing year it was for combat sports. I absolutely love fighting, and being a fighting fan, I think this is one of the most enjoyable things I have in my life right now. So I just want to say I want to give credit to every single fighter that went out there and competed on a big stage and gave it everything that they had inside of them. Fans will never understand or give credit to fighters for being courageous enough to provide the public with entertainment. However, that will never go unnoticed by me, so I just want to say I appreciate every single fight that I've watched this year, and I'm absolutely grateful to be a fight fan and got to witness some of the most amazing feuds and rivalries get settled in the ring or the octagon. Okay, so first, let's start with professional boxing. I personally think that MMA had a better year than pro boxing. Well, I mean, if you include influencer boxing into that, then it might be a bit closer, but I still think MMA had a better year this year. But boxing had a solid year. There were many great fighters out there that put up amazing performances. There were young fighters that continued to develop and increase their stardom. There were fighters that upset great fighters to elevate their career and brand. And for me, the finalists for professional boxing's Fighter of the Year award are Olesandr Usyk, Naoya Inoue, Dmitry Bivol, Devin Haney, Jesse Bam Rodriguez, and Tyson Fury. This is a list of very great fighters. Usyk is on an incredible run right now after defeating AJ twice, but the first fight took place last year. Naoya Inoue is someone that I feel like is being slept on right now. He finished Nonito in 2 rounds and looked absolutely flawless against Paul Butler. Dmitry Bivol obviously had the upset of the year by far, outclassing Canelo, who was previously the pound for pound #1 fighter in the world in a 12-round fight. He also dominated Zurdo Ramirez as well. Devin Haney had a great year when he became undisputed and defended it against George Kambosos. In both fights, he won by a comfortable margin. Tyson Fury also had a good year, but if I'm being honest, nothing was really impressive at all. He finished Dillian Whyte inside 6 rounds, which was to be expected, and he carried Chisora through like 10 rounds and gave him brain damage. Jesse Bam Rodriguez, he's had an incredible year. He became the youngest fighter to become a world champion in boxing, I believe. And the way he finished and performed against Rung Vasai was sensational. He had a bit of a rough fight against Israel Gonzalez, but ultimately he got the job done. An honorable mention that I want to put out there is for Regis Prograis. He had a good run this year to becoming a world champion again, and I don't think he's had a better year than anybody else, but he's worth mentioning this year. So for me, out of everybody in this list, for Fighter of the Year, it comes down to 2 fighters, and for me it's either Naoya Inoue or Dmitry Bivol. I excluded Bam and Devin Haney because although Bam did make history, he had a bit more of a difficult year than the people I just mentioned above. And it wasn't that Bam had a bad year at all, because he obviously did not, but I feel like Inoue and Bivol had a more efficient and cleaner year than Bam. I feel like they displayed their dominance more than Bam. Devin Haney beat George Kambosos twice, and although it was impressive, I don't think anybody thought that Dev wasn't going to beat Kambosos easily in the rematch. Kambosos Jr., he's not really an elite fighter prior to beating Teofimo Lopez. He wasn't really a known fighter like that. And in fact, I believe he was a very beatable fighter, especially against Devin Haney. However, if I had to pick one fighter out of this list, I would say it's Dmitry Bivol. Bivol had an amazing performance against Canelo. Mind you, nobody thought Canelo was going to lose after losing to Floyd Mayweather. His progression and his development after fighting Floyd Mayweather was so great and impressive that everybody almost thought that Canelo was at the status of being unbeatable. There were glimpses of strategies and game plans to beat Canelo, but it seemed like no one was able to pull it off, especially at 168. He became the undisputed champion at super middleweight, and he was looking to do the same in 175 until he ran into Bivol. Bivol completely shut down Canelo's game plan. Bivol used the jab excellently, managed the distance very well, threw very fast and accurate combos, and stayed off the ropes. I've never seen Canelo as frustrated as he was against Bivol, so much to the point that he became a bit delusional after the fight. Do you guys remember when he picked him up mid-fight, where Canelo literally just picked him up and had him on his shoulders? Canelo keeps saying that he lost the Bivol fight because he was tired. No, he did not. He just simply was not the better fighter on the night. He lost in every single category. The judges scored that fight 7-5, but it really should have been 9-3 or 10-2. That fight was definitely not close, especially in the second half of the fight. And against Zurdo, Bivol just essentially had an exhibition. Zurdo was a good fighter and people thought that he was going to give Bivol problems, but Bivol was just better all around. Speed, precision, footwork, and defense were all on point, and Zurdo couldn't adjust or have an answer at all. So Dmitry Bivol is my professional boxing fighter of the year. Alright, so now let's switch over to MMA. MMA has been crazy this year, especially the UFC. It was the year of the underdogs in a lot of fights this year, and many crazy fights got us up off our seats, and a lot of top guys deserve this award. My candidates for this award are Alexander Volkanovski, Alex Pereira, Islam Makhachev, Aljamain Sterling, and Leon Edwards. Volkanovski has been phenomenal this year. He beat the Korean Zombie like it was nothing. And Korean Zombie isn't a bad fighter, but Volk was just piecing him up, and it was getting uncomfortable to watch. Not to mention he literally dusted Max Holloway and put the rivalry to rest and sealed it. Pereira, he had a crazy come up this year. He fought Bruno Silva earlier this year and beat him in a decision. He slept Sean Strickland, which was impressive because not too many people can finish Sean Strickland the way Pereira did. And obviously he got that last minute KO to beat Izzy in their first MMA fight. Islam Makhachev made quick work of Bobby Green this year and absolutely dominated Charles Oliveira when everybody thought Charles was going to finish him. Aljamain Sterling is a sleeper this year, and I feel like nobody is talking about what he's done this year. He had a great performance against Petr Yan when no one thought he would have won. When I say no one, I mean no one. Go on his Instagram prior to the fight between him and Petr Yan. You would see so many people commenting bare L's, bare clown emojis, and he couldn't even talk. Any post he posted on social media, he was getting harassed. He also defeated TJ Dillashaw with ease, and I don't think he deserves enough credit for that performance because TJ was compromised. Leon Edwards only fought once this year, and he pretty much had the most shocking upset I've ever seen in my life. I remember I was literally screaming so loud when I witnessed that happen. I was jumping around in my room. I couldn't honestly believe it at all. But with that being said, for me, the finalists come down to two fighters, and those two fighters are Alexander Volkanovski and Alex Pereira. I left Islam out because he beat Bobby Green on short notice and he finished Oliveira inside 2 rounds, but that alone isn't enough for me to put him above Volk or Pereira. Same with Leon Edwards as well. A great knockout, but one fight like that where you're losing, and especially when that's all you've done this year, it's not going to cut it for me. Aljo is embodying his role as a champion, but I don't think he's been as dominant as Volk or Pereira. So with my final conclusion, my UFC fighter of the year is Alexander Volkanovski. I won't complain that Pereira won the award, but I do not agree. Pereira has certainly been on a tear this year. He fought one guy in the top 5 and one that was the previous champion. He's looked great in the Sean Strickland fight, but not so great in the Izzy fight, although he did win. I believe that fight exposed a lot of weaknesses in his game. He was losing the fight 3-1, he was getting outstriked in terms of landing the bigger strikes and the more convincing blows. His grappling and cardio were revealing themselves as a weak point in his style that many different top fighters can take advantage of. And he repeated history to finish Izzy and claim gold, credit to him. But Alexander Volkanovski has cleared himself to be the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world. Like I said again, he beat Korean Zombie so badly that he barely even got touched. And he defeated Max Holloway in dominating fashion, considering Max was supposed to be the guy that can dethrone Volk. After their close second fight, they both cleared the way to create their trilogy fight. Volk beat Ortega and Korean Zombie, Max beat Yair Rodriguez and Calvin Kattar. In all of those fights, everyone knew that Volk and Max were 1-2. Considering how close the second fight was, people were intrigued to see who would win in their third fight. And those talks didn't last long at all, because as soon as the bell rang, Volkanovski was having his way in that fight. Max was getting lit up with combinations left, right, and center. And it was very sad to watch because people love Max Holloway, but Volkanovski just put the chapter to rest. And to pretty much win by 50-45 against the man that was ranked number 1 and the biggest threat to you, and you didn't have any flaws or adversity, how can you not be the fighter of the year? This was a big reason why I believe Volkanovski became the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and he should have been the fighter of the year. Although Pereira was holding his own, he was struggling against Izzy, but Volk was breezing through everybody this year. Again, I can see why Pereira won the award, but Volk deserves it in my opinion. He's been the most dominant fighter this year. Alright, so now that I got the men out of the way, let's move on to the women. I didn't forget the women in this video, by the way. I just put them last because I didn't have much to say or to think or to debate about. For boxing, my women's fighter of the year is Claressa Shields. Claressa has been amazing this year. Katie Taylor has had an incredible year where she had a fight against Amanda Serrano and she won that fight. She also had another fight where she won convincingly, but Claressa Shields, again, she's been fantastic. Ever since she came back to boxing, she's been reminding everybody why she believes she is the GOAT. She beat Emma Kozin in pretty much an exhibition match and made Savannah Marshall look like easy work. Savannah Marshall is a good fighter. She beat Claressa Shields back in the amateurs and is probably the biggest threat to Claressa Shields, but she came up short. And in that fight, Claressa showed that she is levels above all of her competition. I don't know who's going to give her a run for her money right now, if I'm being honest. For MMA, in the UFC, my women's fighter of the year has been Zhang Weili. Amanda Nunes had a great performance to earn her title back, but Weili has been great this year. She slept Joanna so badly this year with that spinning elbow and pretty much sent her into retirement, and she ran right through Carla Esparza to become champ again. And it's looking tough for anybody to beat her as well, especially when it looks like she's getting more well-rounded as we watch her fight. Her striking is very fast, explosive, and tight. Her wrestling takedown defense is looking good. She's great on the ground as well. I don't know who in this division besides maybe Rose can give Zhang Weili a challenge. There were a lot more great women fighters this year as well, but I think Claressa Shields and Zhang Weili were clear to me. So those were my fighters of the year. I had Alexander Volkanovski, Dmitry Bivol, Zhang Weili, and Claressa Shields. Drop a comment and let me know who's your fighter of the year and tell me why I'm either wrong or right. Also drop a comment and let me know what was your favorite fight of the year, your favorite submission of the year, your favorite knockout of the year. Boxing or MMA or any combat sports, let me know in the comment section down below. Now make sure you guys follow me on my Twitter as I post a lot of tweets about combat sports or sports outside of combat sports, my thoughts and reactions to certain fight news and fight updates, and all in all, we get to stay connected as a community. So head down to the description of this video and follow me on my Twitter to stay updated on everything that I have going on. And other than that, it's been Steven, signing out. Peace!